What is wealth? There is a lot of confusion when it comes to understanding the meaning of wealth. Anyone you ask will give you a different answer. At one point, I heard a friend saying wealth is basically money. It's almost like everyone have their own definition. Well, my friend was wrong. Money is not wealth, and wealth is not necessarily money. Money, however, can be a measure of wealth. In this video, we will explore the meaning of wealth and the different ways there are to create it. What's up everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Leo, and on this channel I upload videos about investing, personal finance, wealth, productivity, and other topics to optimize your daily life and achieve success. So, if this is something you are interested in, consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this one. Now, let's get into the video. Dictionary.com defines wealth as a great quantity or store of money, valuable possessions, property, or other riches, an abundance or profusion of anything, plentiful amount, anything that has utility and is capable of being appropriated or exchanged. All things that have a monetary or exchange value, rich or valuable contents or produce. The state of being rich, prosperity, affluence. This definition is more appropriate. We are not only talking about the rich getting richer, but also, much more importantly, about the poor getting richer. It is true that under certain circumstances the rich and poor may improve their positions at different rates. So how is wealth created? Wealth creation is the process of generating more wealth. This can be done through a variety of ways, but arguably the most popular are investing and entrepreneurship. There are many opportunities for people to create wealth for themselves, but some don't believe that it's possible. For these people, it's a zero-sum game, where if one person is getting rich, another must be becoming poor. But that's not how wealth creation works. Wealth is not like energy or matter, which cannot be created or destroyed, regardless of what some people may think. And this is very easy to demonstrate. Just look at the world gross domestic product over the last 2,000 years. You can see it has increased exponentially. Fortunately for us human beings, the world was created so that wealth can grow constantly, and I'm not referring to the money printer running all the time. But unfortunately, it can also be destroyed. There are basically two ways one can obtain more wealth. Number 1. It can be taken from someone else. We have a term for that. It's stealing. Or, number 2. It can be created. Unfortunately, number 1 has been too common in world history. But this is not wealth creation, it is wealth redistribution. This could be seen in the basic example of members of Tribe 1 would march over to raid Tribe 2. This explains how Tribe 1 might get wealthier at the expense of Tribe 2. But this doesn't explain what has been happening to net wealth in history. Net wealth has increased throughout history, especially in the last 200 years, despite the population of the world increasing dramatically. If economic resources were fixed, then we would continually see a redistribution of resources among an increasing number of people. This would mean that each person receives fewer and fewer things while the population grows. Eventually, this produces a scenario in which everyone has practically nothing. But that is not what it has been happening. How can this be explained? It can be explained by voluntary exchange between people who can benefit from things the other has produced. And that is the truth about wealth creation, it helps every person involved. This voluntary exchange between people can be seen in 3 basic ways: labor, trade, and innovation. To create wealth with labor you need to add value to something. You take raw materials and transform them into something different with a value greater than that of the raw material when added together. Let's look at how labor can create wealth in the following example. Let's say I work at a farm. Every day I accomplish numerous tasks and work, which allow the farm to produce numerous goods and products. The result of my work are the farm's products, which are worth $1,000. For this work, I'm paid $200. The farmer that hired me will receive $1,000 minus $200, or $800. The net wealth gain for the society is $200 plus $1,000 minus $200, or $1,000. Trade, on the other hand, increases wealth by transferring a good or a service to someone that values it higher. For example, an electronics company imports batteries from China for $1 each. They sell the batteries to customers for $3 each. The wealth increase in GDP terms is $2 per battery. The wealth produced is shared by the electronics company, the shipping company, the store salesman, and any others that provide services to the electronics company. Innovation can also create wealth. This can be done through the invention of new technology and the improvement of the existing. Actually, most innovation is small improvements in existing technology or design. For example, I improve a machine that makes nails so that it can make twice the number of nails in the same time. This means that more nails can be produced using less labor or time. These are the 3 ways by which wealth can be created. In a voluntary exchange between people. And whenever it takes place, everyone involved benefits one way or another. My favorite example, where you can see all three ways of wealth creation and its benefits, is the following. Suppose we go back to the Stone Age. And if you don't know what the Stone Age is, don't worry, the Stone Age was just a broad prehistoric period during which stone was widely used to make tools with an edge, a point, or a percussion surface. This period lasted for roughly 3.4 million years and ended between 4000 BCE and 2000 BCE with the advent of metalworking. But we go back to the Stone Age. Men had to fish and hunt to feed their families. Women and children were picking berries, and humankind in general was struggling to survive. Then one day, a fisherman, let's call him Rod, who is struggling to catch fish by hand, comes up with an idea. He chips a rock into a sharp pointed shape. He uses a vine to attach it to a stick. And this is how the first spear is created. After some trial and error, he is able to catch some fish with it. Now all the fishermen want a spear, so he agrees to make them one for a price. He trades them spears for some of the fish they catch with their new spears. Soon after that he has all the fish he needs. So now he trades some spears for pelts, for firewood, for other things he needs. Pretty soon, he's the richest member of the tribe. But what about the other fishermen? Have they become poorer? Of course not. They are able to catch more fish than before. So now there is plenty of food for everyone, thanks to Rod's invention. Even though they trade some of their fish for spears, they are still much better off than they were before. Then, every time they lose their spear in the water, they come to Rod, so he can make them another spear in exchange for more fish. Rod then becomes the first entrepreneur. He does have more than everybody else, but everyone involved has more than before. And this is how wealth is created. This voluntary exchange between people who can benefit from things the other has produced can happen through barter or by using money as a medium of exchange. Both increase wealth, but the use of money drastically increases the number of wealth-creating transactions that can happen. This is because in a barter economy, which is an economy that has no money, transactions are very limited. It requires two people to have goods they are willing to swap. For example, if you have fish to sell and I have fruit to offer, this would be no good because I don't necessarily want to swap fruit for fish. However, if you had eggs you were willing to swap for some fruit, I would be happy to do the deal. This is what economists call a double coincidence of wants, which is an economic phenomenon where two parties each hold an item that the other wants, so they exchange these items directly, without any monetary medium. This is why a money economy is more efficient than a barter economy. Because money overcomes the requirement of a double coincidence of wants that is necessary for barter. For example, it doesn't matter, if you don't want fruit, I can pay you cash for your goods, which you can use to buy whatever you want. This cash is widely accepted. Therefore, we don't have to worry about having the right goods and services to swap. This eliminates a significant transaction cost in barter economies. Now keep in mind that we are only talking about voluntary, informed transactions between buyers and sellers here. Wealth creation doesn't happen when one of the participants in the transaction cheats or deceives the other. This also doesn't apply when one party outright steals from the other. If Tribe 1 steals from Tribe 2, that is certainly a way for Tribe 1 to increase its wealth, although an unethical one. But this is not wealth creation. This is theft. Cheating and stealing do not lead to wealth creation, only wealth redistribution. If what we are trying to do is increase the wealth of people around us, we should start by creating ways for people to make voluntary, informed transactions easier and more frequently. Wealth creation is that simple. It's as easy as allowing people to trade things they have for things they want. This can work in the poorest countries of the world and in the richest ones. Now it has gotten a little more complicated. Now we have governments and politicians, which all over the world are constantly falling in the trap of thinking that just creating transactions for transaction's sake can create wealth or stimulate the economy, and they end up throwing money away on things people don't need and misallocating resources in the economy. They fail to realize the importance that the transactions occur between a willing buyer and a willing seller. For example, suppose a government agency, with the excuse of stimulating the economy, decides to build a local factory and hires 5,000 people just to decrease the unemployment rate. That is just a terrible idea. It would work at first. And people would think that creating 5,000 jobs out of thin air is a good thing. But unfortunately they would be working to create products that nobody wants. Therefore, after some time goes by, the factory would not be self-sustaining and would end up continuing to prop up these artificial jobs only for as long as it is able to take money from other taxpayers and redistribute it to these taxpayers. A much better solution would be to put into place what is needed for a market to function efficiently and let buyers and sellers come together, making each other's lives better off. Let investors and entrepreneurs come together. Let them take the necessary risks to find the most efficient ways to create wealth. The truth is the people who are called wealthy in the world today are people that took risks. Some dropped out of school to pursue their dreams, and today, they have a reason to smile. Now, the reason they were able to create wealth is that they took risks. Have you listened to entrepreneurs who have created wealth for themselves? They all have a few things in common. Most of them started from nothing to what they are now. And today, they can look back and say, the risks, stress, sleepless nights and sacrifices were worth it. The wealthiest people in the world are the ones who have mastered their craft and invested their time, skills, and money wisely. The more you learn about your profession, industry, and company, the more opportunities you'll have to create wealth. And this will be all for today. If you enjoyed the video, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this one. It comes at no cost to you, and you would be helping the channel grow and allowing this content to reach more people. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.